Coming up next on Arizona Horizon, we'll have analysis of President Trump's State of the Union address. Also tonight, a promising new report on cancer survival rates. And we'll look at the best trails and nearby restaurants for hungry hikers. Those stories and more next on Arizona Horizon.
Arizona Horizon is made possible by contributions from the Friends of Arizona PBS, members of your public television station.
Good evening and welcome to Arizona Horizon. I'm Ted Simons. President Trump's State of the Union address last night was the longest in U.S. history and was notable not so much for policy positions and other State of the Union staples as for attacks on Democrats, who the president described variously as cheaters and liars and, quote, sick. Here are some of the moments from last night's speech.
People are crazy, I'm telling you. They're crazy. We're lucky we have a country. With people like this, Democrats are destroying our country, but we've stopped it just in the nick of time, didn't we? All Democrats, every single one of them, voted against these really important and very necessary massive tax cuts. And then just 4 days ago, an unfortunate ruling from the United States Supreme Court. It just came down. It came down. Very unfortunate ruling. But the good news is that almost all countries and corporations want to keep the deal that they already made, right, Scott? Knowing that the legal power that I, as president, have to make a new deal could be far worse for them, and therefore they will continue to work along the same successful path that we had negotiated before the Supreme Court's unfortunate involvement. The first duty of the American government is to protect American citizens, not illegal aliens.
It was in many ways a partisan speech that elicited a partisan response from Democrats.
This was not America's State of the Union. This was Donald Trump's state of delusion. He's in a bubble. He doesn't even know what the average American is going through.
He's enriching himself, his family, his friends. The scale of the corruption is unprecedented. There's the cover-up of the Epstein files, the crypto scams, cozying up to foreign princes for airplanes and billionaires for ballrooms, putting his name and face on buildings all over our nation's capital. This is not what our founders envisioned, not by a long shot. Here's the truth. Over the last year, through DOJ, mass firings, and the appointment of deeply unserious people to our nation's most serious positions, our president has endangered the long and storied history of the United States of America being a force for good.
Joining us now to discuss the speech and what was and what wasn't addressed, Republican political consultant Wes Gullett from Nexus Strategy Group, and from the Democratic perspective, political consultant Stacey Pearson of Lumen Strategies. Good to have you both here. Thank you so much for joining us. Wes, we'll start with you from the right side of the aisle. Was there a message, and if there was, did he stay on message?
Oh, the president stayed on message. As a matter of fact, we were talking about it this morning. We do a lot of message training and media training, and we were like, we need to use Trump as an example because he stayed precisely on message. Now, it was a message to the right, and it was a message to his base. It didn't broaden that base, but it was to them.
Did he say what needed to be said to the country, or are you saying he said what needed to be said to his base?
He said what needed to be said for the midterm elections, to fire up the base and get them back on track. And I think it was, instead of a policy address, it was a political address to the Congress saying, you better get on message, and here's the message.
Stacey, what did you take from last night?
Oh, I think that the Republicans in close races are panicked after watching last night. There is no bigger tent that the president tried to build yesterday. It is in fact more red and more contained than I think it ever has been. And some of these races, including CD1, are going to be very, very close. And he didn't do anything to persuade anyone outside of his base to vote for him or to even consider his positions.
As far as the economy is concerned, because Stacey, I'll stick with you on this because I was kind of interested in, but not a heck of a lot as far as the economy is concerned. It's kind of hard telling people everything is great when the numbers might. Biden administration could tell you all about this. Right. Numbers show one thing, but people in their pocketbooks feel another.
You're exactly right. And this is what undid the Biden presidency, is telling people that the balances in their checkbooks were lying. And when folks cannot make ends meet, when they're not filling their tanks of gas all the way up, when they're skimping on some extras at the grocery store, when they're not able to afford their kids' after-school activities, it matters.
He said it was a roaring economy. Did you sense any empathy, though, for those who aren't feeling the roar?
Oh, my gosh. One, you can sense that it's not a roaring economy. But I saw some data today that showed consumer confidence is at its lowest point in forever. And the reason why, but with Republicans, it's up. And with Democrats, it's way down. And independents are tracking down, too. And that's driving it to this low rate of consumer confidence, according to the University of Michigan. So what we're seeing is this dichotomy between two worlds. One world, the Republican world, everything's great. One world, it's not great. And that world is the one we're actually living in.
Well, and that sounds like that's a world that doesn't even want to attract Democrats.
That's certainly the case. I mean, the tent, again, is not getting any bigger. And it may be Republican, Democrat. It might be an age break. If your money is invested almost entirely in your 401k or in your retirement, you're feeling fine. But half the planet, half of the American public doesn't have a 401k. They could care less about the Dow. They care about what childcare costs, whether or not they can afford a new car, whether or not their tires that need to be replaced can be afforded.
Is that the kind of thing that can be reflected at the polls?
Absolutely. And they'll take it out on the incumbent president. We saw this in November of last year, where Biden said everything's fine, it's better than the economy that I inherited. People were saying, hey, that's actually not the case.
Well, Stacey, have a point there where Republicans, after watching that, in swing districts especially, weren't all that pleased? Or what do you think?
Oh, I'm a moderate Republican. That's, they would say that's loose. And so there are like 7 of us. So Stacey's exactly right. But one thing you need to do, Stacey, is you need to get your candidates to be able to talk like you do, because there's a disconnect in that world, and this is about how you articulate the problem. And being a defeatist and being a victim is not the way to win elections. What Trump said about we're winning, people like that. People like to be winners. Look at the hockey team. That was the only thing that got a bipartisan support, because they were winners.
We also heard a lot of other things last night, and we heard the president, including the president, continuing to make unfounded claims that voter fraud is rampant in the country.
And perhaps most importantly, I'm asking you to approve the Save America Act. To stop illegal aliens and others who are unpermitted persons from voting in our sacred American elections. The cheating is rampant in our elections. It's rampant. It's very simple. All voters must show voter ID.
The president then went on to blame Democrats for what he perceives to be their role in allowing voter fraud to perpetuate, saying that they benefit from the cheating. Neither claim has proved to be true. Wes, I'm going to turn to you, and I'm going to say, does it matter to the base, to the Republican Party in general, what he says? If it's true, if it's not true, if it's misleading, if it's borderline, does it even matter anymore?
Oh, I think that he continues to hammer on this message. He has to, because he claimed that he got the election stolen from him. It's not true. I've been doing this for 35 years in Arizona, never seen any voter fraud to the degree that he's talking about. It's just not the case. People don't care. Republicans think that the Democrats stole elections and they'll continue to steal elections.
So, and again, from the Democratic perspective, I mean, you're going up against a party that allows for someone to. I mean, it's just not true.
The tinfoil hat people are a problem, and I wish we could steal elections. It would be so much easier if we could pre-fill ballots and intercept them with laser beams and put in our candidates. It's just not possible.
But how do you fight that? How do you counter that?
Just by being sane, by telling folks that it's impossible to do what he says has been done and just change the outcome of his race, but still allow Governor Hobbs to have won and AG Mays to have won. I mean, it's just these things just make no sense.
Talk about being sane. What's the atmosphere of the speech? I mean, it used to be that these were solemn affairs and very officious and a lot of decorum. I mean, if you don't have someone yelling and screaming something during a State of the Union address anymore, it's a failed experiment.
Well, it was bad on both sides, but I think Trump attacking the Democrats, that was not cool. It was not cool for the President of the United States, who's everybody's, my president, Stacey's president, to be attacking somebody in the audience for being a different political party. That's not presidential. That's political.
Did the Dems help themselves, I should say, or hurt themselves with the outbursts where you've killed Americans, with the sign that, we're not apes, these sorts of things? Good, bad, or indifferent?
Well, Democrats have been very clear that they want to see our party fight back. I don't think that's particularly effective. I think getting voters registered, particularly in states like Arizona, where we've got a huge deficit, that's more helpful. But the show must go on, and it was at least entertaining.
It was a show, and that's what Donald Trump, President Trump, he's very good at putting on a performance, getting drama, getting the conflict going. That's kind of the deal, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the deal, and it's too bad, because as Americans, we need to come together. Now, we're going to have an election, and we can all choose but at the end of those elections, we need to come together as Americans. Right now, we're splitting apart, and that's not good.
Last question. How long does the impact of this speech last?
14 seconds, give or take. I think so many of the folks consuming media today have already turned back to whether or not the little baby monkey, whether or not his mama is coming back for him, or the little Snuggie. I mean, I think folks their attention spans are so short, and we're still 250-ish days away from the election.
Are we already over the speech, Wes?
People know the rules of curling now,
yes,
but they don't know what he said in his speech. They've forgotten about it.
And again, it doesn't really
More
matter.
people watch curling.
It doesn't really matter, does it? Especially to the base, what he said.
If he hadn't thrown the red meat, it would have mattered. But he did, and he got the base fired up. And that's what they think is going to win the election. But they also have to reach out to independents.
You agree with that?
I do. And I also think that voters are going to get back to some of the moral high ground. I mean, regardless of party, when you're talking about buying a warehouse in Surprise, Arizona for humans, I mean, that's very strange. We should all be very concerned about internment warehouses for humans. And so I think folks are starting to say this immigration enforcement internal into the U.S. is entirely too far, has gone entirely too far.
Stacey Pearson, Wes Gullett, good to have you both here. Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ted.
I'm Chef Mark Charbel. Welcome to Check Please Arizona, the show where Valley residents recommend their favorite restaurants. In this episode, we're enjoying seafood, American fare with a Latin twist, and Italian dishes.
Everybody was like looking at me like this is the greatest thing I've ever eaten.
My boyfriend had the Baja Shrimp Burrito, which was so huge and hefty. Also had French fries in it.
So good. Yeah.
I just need a moment.
Watch Thursday at 7 p.m. on Arizona PBS.
For centuries, Arizona has been a magnet for treasure hunters.
So what is geocaching?
From the early prospectors chasing the glint of gold to today's geocachers navigating with satellites and smartphones, people have scoured the land hoping to uncover something hidden. No matter what you're searching for, though, hiking Arizona's trails is a treasure all its own. Watch Thursday at 7:30 p.m. on Arizona PBS.
A new report from the American Cancer Society shows significant improvement in cancer survival rates. To learn more, we welcome Dr. Brett Broussard, surgical oncologist at Banner's MD Anderson Cancer Center. Doctor, good to have you here. Thanks for joining me.
having me.
70% 5-year survival rate for all cancer, for all cancers.
Right.
That sounds like improvement indeed.
Yeah, absolutely. So, this report goes back many years. So it started in 1951, and they put this report out annually. And so that is the major headline, is this is the first time it's ever achieved that level where 7 out of 10 patients are survivors at 10 years,
in the
5 years.
Yeah, in the mid-70s, it was like 50%.
Right, exactly. So it's come a long, long way.
Why?
I would say multiple factors. So this report accounts for the time between 2015 to 2021. There's been significant changes and I'd say improvement in many therapies since that time period.
Research, I would imagine, a biggie?
Research is a huge part of it, and without research, we don't get any of these new and novel therapies.
I was going to say, is research is one thing, but is it translating to better treatment? Is it translating to better diagnoses?
Absolutely, and I think you just touched on a hugely important thing, which is diagnosis. And diagnosis leads to then staging, and if you don't get staging on par, you don't get the correct treatment. So it's all fits together. Absolutely.
We talked about some of these cancers. Multiple myeloma went from 32% to 62% 5 years. That's huge. Liver cancer's up, quite a jump. Lung cancer from 15% 5-year survival to now 28%. Is that because fewer people are smoking?
It definitely is playing a role in that. That being said, we are seeing an increased incidence of non-smokers who have lung cancer. I'm a thoracic surgeon by training, so lung cancer is my specialty. And so, lung cancer still remains the deadliest of actually all cancers.
It's like it beats number 2 and 3 combined, doesn't it?
Exactly right. So pancreatic cancer and colorectal cancer is number 3 and number 2, and combined lung cancer is more than both of those.
Why is that? Why is it so prevalent?
Yeah, so part of it is late detection in lung cancer. And so signs and symptoms show up so late in the disease process that it delays diagnosis, and therefore disease is more progressed at the time of diagnosis. And so this is where things like lung cancer screening can play a huge role in early detection in lung cancer and really improve the survival curve.
And as I was going to say, the survival rate's positive story, but incident rates seem to be up. Is that because of better diagnosis?
Yeah, I think it is playing a huge role in that. I think there's a lot of people trying to figure out that exact question that you just asked. But I think the fact that screenings are up, not just for lung cancer, colorectal cancer, and other types of cancers, that we're finding more cancers, and therefore incidence is higher.
As far as racial disparities, we're seeing that out there as well, aren't we?
Absolutely. So access to specialists, access to good diagnostics, good staging, remains a challenge, I'd say, across Arizona and the nation.
Is it your impression that this big improvement over these years, I mean, we're seeing a graph going like this. Is it going to top off a little bit, or do you see it even skyrocketing more?
My hope is that it continues to progress in that upward direction. I think there are clearly promising new things on the horizon between surgery, medical oncology, radiation that are very exciting in the near future. So my hope is it continues to rise.
Clinical research, obviously, again, an important factor there. Are you concerned about federal funding for clinical research?
Yeah, I would say we get none of these advances and none of these improvements in outcomes, in therapies, all these things without federal funding and research. And so clearly I think that is a key to continuing to push the needle forward and improve that graph that you're talking about.
Is that a message that needs to be made a little stronger? Because it seems like, we know what's happening as far as federal research money is concerned across the board.
Right. Yeah, no, I think absolutely. I know major societies like my Society of Thoracic Surgeons have large political action committees that are trying to lobby and push our politicians to continue to fund research in lung cancer and many, many other cancers.
Last question here, immunotherapy. I've been doing this long enough to where immunotherapy was a brand new thing.
Right.
Is that a reason why these survival rates are going up? Is that any kind of a reason?
Absolutely. And if you look at the timeline of this report, is from 2015 to 2021, which was probably one of the hugest time periods in jump of use of immunotherapy. And immunotherapy, I can tell even from personal family situation, has been a game changer for so many patients and really improved quality of life and longevity.
And that's improving as well, is it not? The research hasn't stopped there.
No, absolutely. And so, immunotherapy has just really it turns some cancers into that of chronic disease, where
Yeah.
it's a maintenance type therapy.
I was going to say chronic disease seems like it's becoming a part of some of these cancers, and
Absolutely.
that is encouraging.
Absolutely, and so it's something then you live with, and
Yes.
you, as long as you stay on top of it, maintain it.
Dr. Brett Broussard, Banner MD Anderson Cancer. It's always good to have these positive stories when it comes to cancer.
Absolutely.
Thanks for
having
joining
me.
us. Acclaimed travel writer Roger Naylor is out with a new edition of his popular book that helps feed hungry hikers in the state. The book is titled Arizona Boots and Burgers, and it's a guide to the best Arizona trails and the best places to eat before and maybe even after a hike. Roger, good to see you again. It's always a pleasure.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. This is an update of your 2014 book, correct?
It is. Well, it's that and a completely new edition as well. It's sort of two books in one. The original one, that publisher went out of business, so the rights of that book reverted back to me. So I saved a big chunk of it, but then added 40 new restaurants and trails. So there's a total of 70 restaurants, 70 trails in here.
70 trails, 70 restaurants. You're big on hiking. You're big on eating.
Well, you got to kind of have to do a lot of the hiking to balance out the eating. Otherwise, I'm a big old fat guy.
Are some of these trails that are so wonderful? Was it hard to find a good spot to eat nearby?
No, there's always great places to eat in Arizona. I mean, they may not be right there at the end of the trailhead, but, you know, when you've worked up an appetite, a little bit of a drive is not a bad thing.
Can we look at some of the trails you were talking about? Let's start with the River Trail and Cliff Dwellers Lodge. Where is this?
It's up on the Arizona Strip, middle of nowhere. One of the things I like, the River Trail is just this beautiful, underrated little trail at Lee's Ferry there. Goes along the river. You get these beautiful cliffs through an old Mormon settlement. You can hike up, get a little workout on the Spencer Trail, and then just a few miles away, Cliff Dwellers Lodge and Restaurant, this wonderful outpost, and they make a fantastic burger. These are the kind of places where you're just hoping the food is edible, and they just have a superb burger and a wonderful little patio, and you're sitting out there going, oh my goodness, it resonates with that fine spice of remoteness, because you're out in the middle of nowhere, civilization, and you're having a great burger. That's a wonderful Arizona day.
You do love your food. Holy smokes. Okay, so the burger is special. The burger looks special, looks huge. The fries look pretty good too. The fries are important there, right? You can't just throw fries around.
No. They do good fries, but you know, so you can always try onion rings. You can mix it up.
Okay, we got another one, the Hugh Norris Trail down in Tucson, correct?
Yeah, this is in the Sororo National Park, the western unit.
Oh, it's beautiful.
It's a good climb. It's a classic desert trek along a ridge line there. You get some, I think, the best views in Tucson, and it's just a spectacular. It was one of my very first serious desert hikes, and so I always kind of remember it's pretty life-changing. And instead of a burger, even though I've got many great burger places in Tucson, we went with Mexican. We went with El Herrero Canelos, which is Sonoran hot dog. He's sort of the OG of Sonoran hot dogs, and this is a special Arizona flavor, almost hard to find anywhere on this side of the border outside of Arizona, but it starts with a bacon-wrapped hot dog. And are there two more beautiful words than bacon-wrapped in the English language? And it's tucked into this soft boat of dough and then piled on with an avalanche of ingredients, pinto beans and jalapeno sauce, diced tomatoes, grilled and chopped onions. And it just, I mean, he won a James Beard Award for a hot dog.
For that hot dog,
For a hot dog.
Holy
so that
smokes.
tells you something.
All right, holy mackerel. All right, the last one here we have time for is in Monument Valley, the Wildcat Trail. Is there any place to eat close in Monument Valley?
Kienta has
Yeah,
a wonderful
I guess-
little
yeah,
restaurant
you're
there,
right.
Amigo Cafe. You can get a burger, and the Navajo burger, which comes instead of on a bun with uses fry bread. But I love the Navajo taco there, with beans and a little healthier maybe, but just you get some good vegetables and a lot of mix of flavors. And the Wildcat Trail is probably my favorite single trail in the entire state. Throws a loop around the West Mitten there. You're in the heart of the West.
How
You're,
difficult to get to that particular trail? Because
Oh, it's right there. You walk out from the visitor center, and you do not need a Navajo guide. It's one that you do not, so you get to enjoy it. It's about 3.5 miles around, and you'll remember it for the rest of your life.
So we're seeing a lot of stuff here on the right side of the screen here as far as the food is concerned. We've seen hot dogs, we see hamburgers and all that sort of business. Are there vegetarian options?
At each place, I give a vegetarian option if there is one, because there almost always is. I'm married to a vegetarian woman. I eat healthier. You know, back when I was in my 20s, I lived on burgers. Now I try to balance it out, make sure they're a little more special. And but yeah, vegetarian options at each place.
So is there a favorite hike and restaurant combination for you?
I think the best burger in the state is Dive Bar Burger right here in Phoenix, Harvey's Wine Burger. Just spectacular.
Harvey's Wine Burger, that's been around forever.
It has, but it's been upgraded significantly. Just a dive bar, you walk in, it's dark, a little hang up, but man, they make a burger that is just succulent. Just beef candy.
Just settle down there, fella. Dinner's coming up. So. It's good to see you again. Congratulations
Always.
on all your success. Roger Naylor, the book is Arizona Boots and Burgers, and it's a heck of a lot of fun. Good to see you.
My pleasure.
And that is it for now. I'm Ted Simons. Thank you so much for joining us. You have a great evening.
Next time, parents navigate the complex world of jungles, doing all they can for the next generation. But some jungles are now being transformed in ways that make raising young almost impossible.
Tonight at 7 on Arizona PBS.
An ancient wonder. Can new discoveries rewrite our understanding?
Oh my God!
About the origins of civilization. Stone Age Temple Mystery on Nova.
Tonight at 8 on Arizona PBS. You're watching Arizona PBS.
Arizona PBS deeply appreciates every gift we receive, and we are proud to take this moment and recognize our Executive Society. These supporters believe in the mission of